Well, good morning. Looks like it's going to be a pretty nice day to kayak. It's kind of cloudy, overcast right now, but looks like it's going to be a pretty good one. But I was just walking on the treadmill and realized today, 15 years ago, I found that young man that drowned in the Kishwaukee. Had kind of a premonition light go off in my head. And I did the math, and Keith and I did an up. We haven't been up that way all summer, but we happened to paddle up that direction on Thursday, and that would have been the day that he drowned. Yeah, it was a Saturday that he drowned, but that was 2011, so 15 years ago. He'd be 40 years old right now. But yeah, we stopped and floated right in the spot. Like right now, the water's like this deep where his body floated in. I may post the news article, and I may not. What happened that day that I found him? Helicopter had flown over our head. I was floating with, I think, 4 tubers. There was a group of tubers. I think it was 4 of them. There was a gal. That's who the newspaper interviewed. But we were floating down the river, and that section of the river, the main channel is to the left, because it's real shallow to the right. And there's trees that always are stuck right there. In fact, there was a tree stuck there when Keith and I went by. I says, "Yeah, same spot. There's always a tree." So I had turned my boat to push the kayak or the tubers out from hitting the trees. And as I turned, I looked and I saw what I knew was a head, because I knew it wasn't a rock. It wasn't. Rocks look different and they don't have hair on their head. And so I said, I pointed, and they were floating, and I got them past the trees, and I says, "That doesn't look like a rock." I said, "I better go look." And they kept floating on around the bend to Espenscheid. And I got there, and I said, sure enough, I said, "Yeah, it's a body." I said, "Call 911. And they floated on and stopped at Espenscheid Forest Preserve. But as I was sitting there waiting for the authorities, the helicopter flew back over my head, so I waved my paddle and pointed. And then the helicopter proceeds to come down. And as he comes down, the wind from the helicopter blades created a wave and a wind that shot me to the bank. And the front end of my boat literally stuck in the mud in the bank. I pointed the bank out to Keith when we were up there, and I'm thinking, well, they're going to kill me, so I'm going to get out of here. So I went on down, and then the sheriff waved me over and wanted a statement. I said I didn't touch the body. I just waited there till the authorities. And then the news asked if I wanted to do an interview, and I didn't really feel like it. I told the sheriff what, and I figured the tubers had told them, the story. They were right there with me. So yeah, it kind of, it's been 15 years now. I don't have any problem talking about it at all, but it was anytime you find a lifeless body, especially in the river, it's, I find lifeless deer and, other animals, but when you find a lifeless body with a soul, it's different. And especially in the manner, when they're, I don't know all the details. There's all kinds of rumors on how he slipped out of his tube and drowned. I'm not going to go there. I don't know. I did see that group. I knew that young man. I did see that group that day that he drowned earlier in the afternoon, up standing on the shore up towards Bauman. But I do know that night a real bad storm came in, and I don't know how late they were. I've heard rumors that they were, late into the evening tubing. It was a real hot July day. But that storm came in, and it was a nasty storm. I think it rained almost 3 inches in less than an hour. So the river went up like 2.5 feet or so. That's why they couldn't find him on Sunday. Because I think it was Saturday night that he drowned. Saturday afternoon. They searched all day Saturday, because I was out Saturday. I saw the helicopters flying over, but he would have probably been under the water still. And then as the gases build in the body floats, and then that's when he would have floated into the side of the bank where I found him on the 25th. So that would have been, that was Monday. I went out Monday after work and found him. So yeah, that's weird that Keith and I were going. I wasn't even thinking about that, but that was the exact day that he drowned on Thursday. Well, it would have been Saturday, but it was Thursday that we were, because that was the 23rd. So he drowned on the 23rd, and then I found him on the 25th, which is today. So it's kind of weird. Yeah, you get little things that go off in your head, I guess, for a reason. I was thinking of a good friend that died of a brain tumor, and I just happened to be thinking of him. It was the day that he died, a year after. Sometimes that's... I'm going to read this passage. I've read it before. I'm going to read it again. It's a powerful passage. It's how we're here, why we're here. Because we're here. It's a miracle that we're here, but we're here. Everything in the body is a miracle. Everything all the systems that make it work. The soul that indwells it, and indwells this tent, is a miracle. I mean, we're here. So I find, I think I've said this before, the nurse at the cardiologist office always asks me if I'm depressed, because one of the medicines I'm on for my heart can cause depression. And I said, no. I always tell her, no, I just have an amazing grasp of reality. All right, I'm going to read this passage from John. John 1 through 18. In the beginning was the Word. That's why I tie it to the cross. In the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. That's Jesus. He's referred to as the Word. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. That is the thing that stands out when you see a lifeless body in the river. The light is gone. It's just back to the elements, river debris. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. he came as a witness to bear witness about the light, that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but came to bear witness about the light. The true light, which gives, I'm not that, well, I do bear witness of that light, but I'm not the John that it's referred to in here. This is John the Baptist. The true light, which gives light to everyone, was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made through him, yet the world did not know him. He came to his own, and his own people did not receive him. But to all who did receive him, who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen his glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness about him and cried out, "This was he of whom I said, he who comes after me ranks before me, because he was before me. For from his fullness we have all received grace upon grace. For the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God, the only God who is at the Father's side. He has made him known." All right, friends. I hope to see you on the river, and God bless, and stay thirsty for God.